So I'm going to take you through doing this 3D printer plastic problem, except for I'm going to use the Method printer, and the Method printer is very similar to the Replicator Plus that you're doing. It's a little bit different plastic, so I'm going to use these numbers so I don't give you the answers. The Method will print 2 shields at one time, so it's a little bit smaller. It takes 3 hours to do that. It uses 43 grams of plastic to print 2 shields, and I have 4 spools of 0.75 kilogram plastic, so the spools are a little bit smaller. So first thing I did here is I went and I converted my kilograms to grams. That's 750 grams per spool. And then I took 2 shields, 43 grams, divided it by 2, and figured out that it's 21.5 grams per shield. My total material divided by the material per shield told me that 1 spool gives me 34 shields. Okay, so total material in 1 spool. Not all together yet, we haven't done that part. The number of shields per spool times the number of spools. Move that up. The number of shields per spool times the number of spools. 34 shields per spool times 4 is 136 shields. So 136 face shields. Total. 136 divided by 2. The reason I did that is because you can print 2 at a time. So what that gives me is the total number of times I have to hit print on the printer. I have to do that 68 times. So it will print 68 times. 68 times multiplied by 3 hours gives me 204 hours. And then I simply divide that by 24 and I come up with 8.5 days. So that's my math that I did by hand. And now I'm going to switch you over to the spreadsheet and use the spreadsheet. I'll show you how to do that to check the math. So we're done with the math by hand. I still got it off to the side here so I can use it as a reference. Still have it. And I'm going to take you through how I plug this into using Google Sheets to check my math and make sure I did everything correctly. So first thing I did is I put my name on it, and then I put the things I knew. I knew that there are 1 spool is 0.75 kilograms. I know there are 43 grams of plastic in 2 shields. Shields per spool, we need to calculate that. Number of spools we know, and the time is 3 hours, gives us 2 shields. So those are the things that we know or we want to find out. Okay, so the next column over here, by the way, these are your rows. Excuse me, these are your columns and these are your rows. Rows are numbered, columns are lettered. So if you'll remember, each intersection of those is called a cell. So my name is in cell A1. Okay, A would be the column and the row would be row 1. So what I've done here is in the B column, I've just kind of put what I'm going to do, and then in the C column, I'm going to use that as my math area. So if I want to convert 0.75 kilograms into grams, what I simply need to do is multiply by 1,000. So I'm going to make Excel do math, and the way I do that is I press the equal sign. So equal sign 0.75 times. Now for the times, you have to press shift and the 8 key on your keyboard. It's an asterisk, it's not the X. If you use the X, it's not going to work. Times 1,000. There we go. There we go. Now you can't have any letters in your cells that are going to be used later on to do math, because that messes up your spreadsheet. So we're going to leave units off for now. Normally I would put the units in there, but we're going to leave units on for now. Calculate the plastic in 1. That was my my division problem. 43 grams divided by 2. Oh, why didn't that work? Forgot to put the equal sign in there. So I can simply go back and put the equal sign in there. You'll see by adding that equal sign, I've told Google Sheets or Excel, either one, you're not just putting information in there, you're doing a math problem. So that's why we've put that equal sign in there. Okay. Shields per spool. The total material divided by the material in one shield. That's how I've written this out here. So what I need to do is take my total number, 750, and divide it by 21.5. Again, I'm going to use the spreadsheet here. Instead of typing in the number, I'm simply going to click on the cell. So I got cell C3 divided by cell C4. It doesn't look like much, but what you're actually doing is you're not typing in a specific number. You're typing in a location that a number could be. Let me explain that a little bit differently. Right now, my answer is 35, okay, which is pretty close to, if not exact. Yeah, I had 34 on my hand calculations. Probably the reason I had 34 is because if I move my decimal place out a little bit, you'll see that it's 34.8. Well, if I make 0.8 of one, it doesn't count. I need the whole full thing. So when I do this and move my decimal, get rid of some of my decimals here, it rounds up. However, in manufacturing, you can't round up. You have to round down to the next number. So for what we're doing, 35 will work. I just need to make a little mental note that I only really I'm going to get 34 out of there. Let's just say I didn't have, I made a mistake. There wasn't 0.75 kilograms in there. There was 0.85. And I went back and changed that. Okay. Do you see how this number instantly changed to 40? When I do that, it's because it's referencing what's in here, what's in cell C3. So if I was to make a mistake and go and change my numbers around, my formulas will automatically update themselves, which is way better than just, oh, Mr. Smooth Talk wants me to put it on a spreadsheet, so I'm going to type in all my math work in the spreadsheet. That's not the point of this. The point is to use this as sort of like a calculator. Let's go fix that. There we are. My number of spools is 4. Shields per spool times number of spools. So I'm going to take, again, use my formula, and my number of spools is 4. I have to actually type that in, because if I do this, it's not going to work, because it got words in there too. So equals 4 times, how many can I get out of 1? I can get 35. So I can get 140. Now, granted, this is rounded up, so based on what I had before, I'm close. I don't have 1,000 showing up or something like this. Okay. My time is 3 hours divided by 2 shields. So I have a couple of ways I can go about doing this. I can calculate the time it takes for me to make 1 shield, or I can just leave that in there and leave it at 2. I'm going to take my total number of shields and I'm going to divide it by the number I can print at one time. So my total number of shields, 140, equals 140 divided by 2. That gives me, again, see how I have all these decimals here? I can't actually have those. So that tells me that I have like 70 prints. Again, I'm close to what I originally had. I'm going to take that information and multiply it by the amount of time. I don't want all that. take that, multiply by the time. So 70 prints. Times the time for each print. And I get, I'm also going to take this and divide it by 24. I'm going to do all this in one step. It's a little bit more advanced, but I think we can handle it. So first I'm going to parentheses that's how many prints I have, times 3 hours per print. Okay, I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to divide that whole thing by 24. Okay, because there are 24 hours in a day. That gives me 8.7 days. Or, because I'll probably sleep at some point in time, maybe, 9 days. It's going to take me 9 days to make 140 shields right here with this MakerBot method and the amount of plastic that I have. So I hope this demo works for you. I'm just checking my clock here, make sure I'm still recording. If you have any questions, let me know, and good luck.